Neil, Sean, let me bring you into this conversation. And one of the things about this is maybe not to the extent of the royal wedding, but this is a big economic boon for London, isn't it?
Well, yeah, actually, Chris, you're spot on there, because, you know, what you've got to remember is the royals are very good at bringing us money. And you know, what you're seeing as you're surrounded by all this media, remember, all this media have to stay somewhere, fly somewhere, eat somewhere. Plus, it's brought in incredible amounts of tourists. You know, what we've seen, myself, just wandering around London, is so many American visitors who are very loyal and very passionate about our British royal family. So we're thrilled. I mean, I'm sure David Cameron's thrilled anyway.
I'm not sure anybody's happier about this than the bookmakers. Obviously, they have stopped betting on the day of the royal birth, and they made a lot of money last week because most of the money was on that. Now I guess they're betting on the name, boy or girl, and I also hear that there are bets being placed on what color Pippa Middleton's dress will be when she comes to visit her sister.
No. Do you know, it's interesting, isn't it, though, Chris? You know, the bottom line is you can bet on anything. You know, if you want my take on it, I firmly believe that the name George will be in there if it's a boy. And I get a feeling that Victoria, based on Queen Victoria, not Posh Spice, of course, but the original Queen Victoria, is making a comeback. And as you know, being in London, there's very many monuments around London that still symbolise this great royal. But yet, even the dress that she emerges from when she leaves the wing. It's interesting, let me tell you, there are no designer frocks that she will be leaving in. They are what they call shopping mall frocks, you know, high street wear, because she obviously doesn't want to appear that she's spending lots and lots of money of our difficult recession times looking glamorous. She always looks glamorous anyway, but also let's not forget they have spent quite a pretty penny on, of course, the nursery. So I think that's where the money's gone.
Neil, there is history being made here. Of course, there's always history made when there's a monarch. But if it's a girl, she'll be queen, right?
Absolutely. You know, what you've got to remember, Chris, is we are living in very historical times. You know, if you're Prince Harry today, you kind of know that you're not going to be top 10 anymore. You know, you're down a peg in the charts. So whatever happens, Prince Harry will have what I consider now a more relieved life, as it were. He'll possibly be allowed to get on with a more normal outside royal life than anybody else, because of course what we have to remember is we've got Prince Charles first, then we've got William, and then of course whatever he produces today, or Kate and him produce today, will be third in line to the throne. And this is groundbreaking big, because if it is a girl, it still remains. Normally it would have just been the boy.
Neil, Sean, the other thing that's always talked about is, would the Queen ever step aside? The conventional wisdom that I hear is that no, she won't. And so if you have the Queen, and then you have Charles, perhaps at some point down the road, and remember her mother lived a good long life, and then you have William, this is not a baby who is likely to lead for a very, very long time.
Well, that's a good point, you know, Chris, but also another point is the fact that, you know, it's astonishing when you think that Her Majesty the Queen has carried on for so long, because, of course, every year, as you rightly said, there's these stories about, oh, would she abdicate, would she move to one side and let Charles? Even Charles has kind of hinted that he's ready to take on the big job, but he's going to kind of encounter what happened, of course, to Edward VII, where, you know, he kind of got there and then got about 10 or 12 years, and then that was it. Sadly, I think for Charles, dare I say, it would be a short reign. Then, of course, we'd get William. But, you know, William's a young man. You know, he could last forever, too. Whatever the royals have for breakfast, I'm convinced it's something special, because they all have very long lives.